Hello and welcome back to Live, Laugh, Lily Kincade with your host, Lily Kincade. If you're watching the video version, you may be like, girl, why are you wearing a wig? Why not is the real answer. This is like a Halloween costume wig, and I was cleaning through my room and I found it and I was like, wait, I want to put this on. And I put it on and I kind of feel like cotton candy in the best possible way. It's like a pastel pink wig if you're just listening. But hello, you guys. Happy Monday. Was traveling last week back to California, back to my real piano, which I'm so excited to write on, which is behind me, last Monday. So that's why there was no episode, but I'm here and today's going to be a good episode. Today's going to be a good episode because it's something that has been coming up a lot for me, coming up a lot for my friends, for a lot of y'all. I've been getting DMs about this, and this is actually the first episode of Live, Laugh, Lily Kincade that I did was about this and sharing my secrets and my little method that I've used to basically, I don't know, just make everything in life more enjoyable. And it has to do with expectations. I feel like expectations can make or break your mood, your day, your month, your life. And, I always say like fixing something or healing or, going after your goals, it isn't a one-time thing. Like, oh, I can just set boundaries and I'm fine. Oh, I can just do this and I'm fine. It's a constant thing. And I think it's great to relearn. I think it's great to touch back on topics. I think it's something like you have to be reminded. It's like you can't just go to therapy once and think you're fine for life, or you can't just journal for 2 days and think you're fine. You can't just go to the gym for 10 hours one time and think that you're healthy and you have really good stamina and good fitness levels. You can't eat a salad one time and think that you've eaten healthy for life. Same thing with your emotions in your mind and managing things and reminding yourself of that. So I have this little method. It's fairly simple. I would also recommend, if you haven't listened to the very first episode of season 1 of Live Off Lily Kincade, to go back and listen to that because it's a good one. It's a good one. And I've had people of all ages tell me that they use this method, and it's really simple, but it's just something that honestly, I find that the more simple something is and the more practical it is, the better it works in terms of like little tips or tricks or hacks. And this is something that is like so simple and just helps me. And I'm reminded of it too, because you forget about it, you get busy, or you don't want to do that. But even like I'm doing this episode because this is something that I've been, going through. And when you don't set your expectations, not even set your expectations, but when you don't focus on that, you can have a lot of expectations that are not expressed that then therefore like really affect you because you were not prepared for things that are out of your control going wrong or going not the way you may have envisioned in your mind. So by doing this, you're kind of accounting for the things that are going to go wrong, because guess what, life isn't perfect and life is going to mess up, people are going to mess up, so things are going to go wrong, but that's actually okay because it's just life. And obviously we can't control other people, we can't control a lot of things like the weather, for example. We can't control a lot of things. So it's by kind of addressing this, it kind of just takes care of all those unexpected things. So anyways, I have a little, I don't know why I don't really know what my favorite color is, because I always say my favorite color changes. I would say like if I had one favorite color, because I love so many colors. Like I obviously love pink. I have my pink notebook. I love red. I would say my one favorite color, like say I'd have it everywhere. I do like a dark emerald green, but I feel like I would get sick of that with my red hair sometimes because it feels too Christmassy all the time, although I love it. I love deep teal blue, not a blue, but like a blue green. One, it's my favorite color. It looks so good on me. Like, I don't know, there's just something about the teal blue that's calming. Yeah, it's intriguing. Like a dark, and not like a teal blue, like a light teal blue or a blue teal blue, like a green teal blue that feels like the depths of the ocean. I like that color. Okay, I don't know how this got sidetracked on what's my favorite color? Anyways, we start off every episode by reading a quote. So I picked one out for you that I really liked, and it's by Jocko Willink. Okay, listen to this. It's a little bit of an interesting one. Ready? When setting expectations, no matter what has been said or written, if substandard performance is accepted and no one is held accountable, if there are no consequences, that poor performance becomes the new standard. Period. So this kind of goes into, I'm going to read it one more time, but since this is the second episode about expectations, and yes, we're reviewing kind of like my little formula, but also too, I hope this is challenging you to when you do apply this formula and when you are naming the things that you're like, if these go successful, I'm going to consider it a win. Don't aim low. Don't aim low. Don't settle for the bare minimum and tell yourself you'll be happy if that happens. Like, I saw this quote kind of talking about that when you're expecting this, yeah, that's great. You're applying the principle, you're managing your emotions, but you know what? I think you can actually aim higher. I think you can actually aim for more. And that's something that I'm doing in 2025. And that's something I hope that you're doing in 2025, because we can aim higher and we are worth a lot more. Like Ephesians 3:20, God can do like immeasurably more than all we can even imagine or ask. Anything that we can think of, God's like, we can't even think of it. Like, think about that for a second. We can't even think of the things that God has for us. Like we're trying to think about it, but to the truth is we will have no idea. And so when we ask for something small and when we think that that's it. I just want 10 people to show up to my show. I just want this bare minimum. How embarrassing is that to God? You are worth so much more. And I hope you realize that. And I hope you remember that. Okay. Little preacher moment for a second. As always too, before I forget to say this, let me know what you want to talk about below. Let me know. It's just me, your 23-year-old singer-songwriter bestie, just kind of going through life with y'all. I feel like I'm like your guys' like big sister. I'm not your mom because I don't know enough to be your mom. Like, I don't know enough. Like, I'm not smart enough. But we're going through it together. And sometimes, I'm the one who gets in trouble because I mess up. I'm the big sister who like, oop, I did something. But you know what? Then you learn. Or sometimes, you know what? We're having fun together and we're on a little adventure away from the parents together. Okay, I'm going to read this quote one more time and then I'm going to share with you my formula. Okay. When setting expectations, no matter what has been said or written, if substandard performance is accepted and no one is held accountable, if there are no consequences, that poor performance becomes the new standard. Period. Okay, into expectations. Here's my foolproof. Maybe I should name the title of this episode that. I don't know. We'll figure that out later. But here's Lily Kincade's method for managing expectations and making the most out of every situation. By doing this, not only do you feel better because you're not allowing outside circumstances to dictate how you feel and your emotions for the rest of the day, but you actually, buried in this little formula is actually goal setting. So it's like a 2-in-1. Here's my little picture. I'm going to reverse photo booth in iMovie just for like 1 second so you can screenshot this. If you're listening to this, whenever you get home or whenever you have a moment to look at your phone, screenshot this. It's just a little easy kind of cheat sheet thing. Okay. Can you all see that? I think you can see it. Trying to make it clear. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Okay. So I physically love writing things down, especially when it comes to expectations, because I think sometimes even on a phone, like if I don't have anything with me and I need to write something down, obviously notes app, but I really like writing something down or speaking it, whether it be like in a video or a voice memo or to a friend, because there is something that is like accountable in a physical written thing that you can't just delete, backspace and type something out new. Or like when you're talking to a friend and they heard you can't be like, wait, I'm changing my mind. So I like to get a piece of paper and I write down at the top of the paper, whatever the thing is. And I wrote down on this, I wrote event, thing, goal, project, etc. Whatever it could be. It could be, I have this assignment due, or it could be, I have this holiday show, or I have this first date I'm going on. It can literally be anything. It could be, I am doing this new workout class. I am whatever it is, but it's not like an overall goal. It should be something specific. It could be like, I am like, even for me, even for this right now, for my podcast, it has to be something specific, not like overall, like here's my big goal. It needs to be like actual little things you're doing. Something like that. It could be, I am cooking dinner tonight. Like, it has to be specific, and write it down. Like I said, write it down or voice memo it or make a video, because it's nice when you're held accountable, because it makes you work harder. Then I want you to think of 3 specific things. Yeah, more could happen, but it's important to be specific. It's important to be specific and clear and really write down exactly 3 things. You can think of more, but 3 things, okay? No less and no more. The extras, if more good things happen, those are just bonuses. But instead of waiting for the outcomes to happen to you, I want you to create the outcome. I want you to select 3 things that are in your control, that if those are done, the event, situation, goal, whatever the thing is, is considered a success. If you achieve those 3 things, and if those 3 things that you specifically wrote down are checked off your list, tell yourself you are not allowed to complain or beat yourself up or be negative about it. It's considered a success in your mind. Yes, you can always be like, well, next time I want to aim higher. Next time I want to improve this, but you're not going to be a victim, and you're going to allow your mind to move on to the next step. It seems simple, but I'm telling you, even myself, like, this isn't something I started doing until like 2 years ago. I remember it was on my 22nd birthday when I started doing this, and I started slowly to incorporate it in other areas. And still, like, even right now, I still kind of have to write it down and write it in my journal and work through it, because, you know, it's not like a one-time thing. But seriously, doing this is crazy. So I'm going to give you some examples, and then hopefully you can apply it to your life. Listen to episode 1 of season 1 of Live Left Kincade, or you can read my book. It's chapter 1 in there. For even more examples and just more in depth about expectations. But some examples would be, okay, right now, let's take my podcast, for example, like right now, this episode, because like I said, get specific, not like, oh, my whole podcast in general. What are the 3 things I want to do? Yeah, that's goal setting, but I'm talking about how to actually manage expectations. Okay, so 3 things, filming this podcast, that I can control. And if I do them, then I'm like, okay, that's awesome. I'm confident. Even next time I'm going to aim higher. But what are the 3 things I can control? I can't control how many people listen to this podcast. I can't control if people don't like it. I can't control if people leave hate comments. I can't control, if it gets blocked or if it gets shadow banned. I can't control any of that. What are the things that I can control? That I want to pick 3 of those. So for me, it was like, I want to feel confident and look cute. So I did my makeup and I feel confident right now. I have my pink wig on. It's making me feel confident. Check. That's one of them. Another one would be, I want the lighting and the audio to sound really good. I got a new light and I feel like it's very bright on my face. The audio sounds good. I'm using a mic and my whole system, which some people may be like, oh, well, that's too much. You can just talk to the camera or use a cheaper mic. No, I want it to sound good. This is the mic I use to record demo vocals and record vocals. I love doing this. I would rather take the extra 5-10 minutes to set up the whole mic thing versus it sounding bad. So that's something I can do. And another one would be, I want to be authentically myself when I'm speaking in the episode, and I want to not hold anything back for fear of judgment. So I'm, when I'm talking, I don't want to feel like, oh, I can't say that because that's going to make me sound silly or stupid. Is to like authentically speak whatever God is telling me to speak to y'all. So those are the 3 things. And so far, I've done those 3 things. And so I'm going to consider this episode a success. And I put my expectations in those things. Like if I can do those, awesome. Because the truth is, I can't control how many people listen to this. So if I'm expecting, I just want 50 people to listen to my podcast, I can't control that even. That's not in my control, but I can control, okay, the lighting. So maybe if I get, like for example, if I can control the lighting or the things I can control, if I can improve those, then, more people are going to find the podcast naturally. So it's like by working on the things you can control and making them the best that they can be, you actually will work on all the things outside of your control as well. Another example could be, I remember, I'm going to make up a random example. Okay, it could be like cooking dinner. So say for your roommate or your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your family, whatever it is, you're in charge of cooking dinner. And they're like, you can make whatever you want. So you have no restrictions. It's just whatever you want. Now, we all have different taste buds. We all like different food. So this can be overwhelming because you're like, oh my God, I don't know. I hope they make something I like. We can't control if they like it or not. Hey, they said they had no like restrictions. It's on them if they're like, I hate this type of food. They should have told you that. So, and if that was the situation, if I was like the chef and I was making dinner for like, say like me and my girlfriends, I would, and there was no restrictions, I would pick 3 things that I can control. Okay, 1, I want to make it healthy, or I want to make it the produce. I want to get produce from the farmer's market so it's super fresh. Like that would be one of them. Would be like, I can control the produce. I can't control the outcome or if people like it, but I can control the products I use. So I want to get produce from the farmer's market. Another one could be like, I want to make the setting of the food really beautiful. I can control that. I can control how I plate the food to make it beautiful. I can't control that my friends will like it, but I can control that I like it and that it's aesthetically pleasing and creates a fun vibe and it's just a fun little way to eat food and prepare it nicely. And another thing I want to control is that I want to make sure I get enough veggies in the dish. You can control those 3 things. And if you do that, you have to consider it as a success. We all have different taste buds. We all have different opinions. Some people may not like it. And I'll give 2 more quick examples. Another one could be like, say you have I know there's finals coming up for all of my friends in school. whether that be college or uni or middle school or whatever it may be. The school of life, that's what I'm in. I'm in the school of life right now. I mean, Hollywood is high school, so just life is crazy. Hollywood is high school. Keep that in mind. Hold your cards close to your chest. Have good discernment. We should do a whole episode about that. Anyways, say you have a big project. It could be a big final. Say it's like a final paper. You can't control if your teacher's going to give you an A+. You can't control that. You're not your teacher. There's no way physically for you to control what grade you're going to get. Like you cannot be like, I'm getting 98%. You can't. You can assume that because if you put in the work, but assumptions are a tricky slope, and I would just stray away from assumptions, because if you assume things that like kind of quote unquote like don't matter like that, you'll start to assume things when you get into relationships and friendships that like will really start to cause harm in your relationships. So I would just stray away from assuming and just go on facts. So that was a sidebar. But say you have this big paper. You cannot guarantee and you cannot control what grade you get. So in order to not be stuck in that, you need to define 3 things, like I said, that you can control. And if you do those 3 things, you're going to consider it a success, and it will set you free from those expectations. So for example, if it was a paper, I would be like, I want 3 things I can control. Okay, I want it to be this long in length. Like it could be a little bit more than what is required or whatever it may be. I want it to be like this. Or another thing I could control would be, I want to have my paper done a week before the due date and stick with it, whatever it is. So I want it to be 10 pages long. I want it done a week before the due date, and I want it to be honest, and I want it to feel like has personality in it and embodies me through the writing. So it adds a little bit of differentiation and makes my personality shine through. All those things you can control. All those things you can do. And by doing those, gotta turn my phone off. Someone is texting me. And by doing that, you therefore also increase the outcome of it being a higher grade, which is just amazing when you really think about it, because by having it done a week early, you're not rushed. So you know it's going to be quality work. By putting yourself in it, you're putting passion into it. And passion always shows through. No matter what you think, passion always shows through, and joy, and it shows through in your writing, just like it does in music, just like it does over the phone. Like if you smile when you're talking to somebody, apparently it sounds happier. And if it is this many pages long, it shows that you are going to put thought into it and you're not just doing the bare minimum to get it done. Period. So there you go. Whatever thing it is that you have that's specific, not an overall thing, but whatever little situation pops up. It could even be like a phone call. Oh my God, I have to send this phone call. I have to do this. Okay, here are my 3 things, whatever. Set your 3 things that you can control. Do those things and consider it a success. You can always reflect and be like, next time I want to do this, but you're not going to beat yourself up. You're not going to play a victim, because you're better than that. Period. Anyways, that's it for today's episode. I love y'all so much. Truly, I hope you're loving Mr. Hollywood. I have another song coming out in 2 weeks. Piano at Parties. You can pre-save it below. I'll let y'all be the first people to pre-save it. I think I'm going to announce it Monday, or I guess today is Monday. I'm going to announce it on my Instagram. And like all my socials today. And I'm finishing up the website, which is looking awesome. And I'm going to do a blog on there and working on merch. I'm coding it. So I feel like a little computer code STEM girl. I love it. I used to do like robotics and coding camp when I was younger. Anyways, I love y'all so much. Let's end with the affirmation, and make sure to comment anything that you want me to cover below. Let me know. Give this 5 stars. Send it to a friend. Today is a wonderful day. I am confident because I am a problem solver. I always have options because I choose to be optimistic. Today I will learn something new, laugh, and make a difference in someone else's life.